Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is just an excuse, honestly, to just read books with you guys for a week. I love doing these little reading vlogs that just have like no purpose, genuinely, if I'm being completely honest. This week I'm just gonna be mood reading some books and I'm gonna be vlogging the entire thing. We're just gonna read together. It's gonna be very fun. Let's go ahead without further ado and get this video started. I'm literally smiling as I'm reading this. The entire book so far has just been amazing. Glad he finally sees it now. Like, yes. Let's also talk about Georgia's faults. But I have the Gilded Wolves and Caraval that I definitely want to get to at some point. Don't think this is the most like fully fledged out fantasy book. Like, it's not gonna affect my life, but I do need to know, unfortunately. I'm not really loving the plotline right now, if I'm being honest. Like, oh, I'm gonna end up with one of the guys from One Direction. Like, she would have thrived in that time, let me tell you. The first book I want to read in today's video I've actually had on hold literally since the beginning of this year, and that is none other than The Vows. I have been wanting to read this so badly, and I'm just in a very big like rom-com mood right now. The only thing that I know about it is that it's a second chance romance. It takes place at, I think, both of the characters' best friend's wedding. Like, I think it's just a childhood friends type of trope. That's honestly the extent of what I know. I just think that they're going to a wedding for their childhood best friend, and then things just start going wrong and they have to work together to kind of fix it and make sure that the wedding goes as planned. I just feel like it's gonna be the cutest book ever. So let's go ahead without further ado and start The Vows. I'm so excited. I've literally been wanting to read this since the beginning of this year. Like, and I finally have it within reach. Like, it's finally on my Kindle. Already obsessed with them. I'm only a few chapters in. I don't know what read I'm about to become when we get further and further along in the story and their relationship becomes just better and better, but like right now when they low-key hate each other, I'm like, wait, I kind of love them. I'm like, wait, guys. Oh my god, Adam. This trope of like both of these characters, both of our main characters are friends with the same person, like best friends with the same person. And right now in the perspective that I'm at, it's like their childhood and they're both just at this one friend's house all the time. And I'm like, I love it already. When Eli and I got together, it was easy to promise Adam that nothing would come between the three of us. Anything less than forever was just a monster in the closet, something that would never get us. I'm like, guys, don't look at me, don't speak to me. Their relationship was a lot more serious, like when they were together, than I thought it was. And now I'm spiraling. We're like perfect and you guys don't understand. Hey guys. I have a few book related updates to give you guys, and I honestly feel like this is the only time today that I'm gonna have a break to just talk to you guys, so that's what we're gonna do. Sorry, I apologize. I'm in my car right now. I read some of it last night. I read it the second I woke up, and I also read it in class today because it is such a good book already. I think it's so funny how like everyone else in their life knows that they should end up together again, but yet like they're just not coming to terms with it. And then also, okay, I feel like, yeah, while it kind of is a miscommunication trope, they broke up the first time just simply because they had different childhoods and they cope with things in different ways. Oh, I keep forgetting her name. I remember Eli's name, but I don't remember her name, so give me 2 seconds. Her name is Georgia. Basically, Eli and Georgia, like, they both grew up a little bit differently, even though they grew up together. Their childhoods just had things going on that they both wanted to escape from, so they went to Adam's house, like, throughout their entire childhood and just hung out around Adam, and Adam is their, like, mutual best friend, but it's, like, it's a trio. The whole idea of the book is that Eli and Georgia dated for a very long time, and then they broke up. Now they both have to come together after, like, 2 years of not seeing each other, and help plan Adam's wedding. Right now I'm kind of just like vibing out with the story, for lack of a better term. Like genuinely, I'm just obsessed with all of our characters. I feel like it's like a found family friend group type of vibe going on, not just between Adam, Eli, and Georgia, but also between like Grace, who is Adam's fiance, and then you have other people who are kind of like added in, and just being able to see from like the flashbacks of how like all of these friendships grew and how they became like this whole big found family. I'm obsessed with it. And I just feel like the support that our main character Georgia gets throughout the entire book so far has just been amazing, even just from her friends. The way Eli and Georgia interact I think is just so funny, but like so perfect. It just like makes so much sense in my head that they would be together, and I can't wait to get to the end of the story when they actually are together, because guys, I'm struggling right now because I'm like, oh my god, they're literally perfect, they just don't see it. And I honestly think Eli sees it. Like, I fear Eli's just trying to win her back like in any way that he can, but will just not admit it, because like she'll catch Eli just staring at her randomly, and then she'll say something, oh my god, and then I highlighted something that I was just like, he wants her so bad right now, and she's just like not here for it because she doesn't want it to end horribly. Like, she said a comment about his work and how he's always like on the phone on another meeting or something like that, and then he's actively trying to not do that at all. Like, he's actively not even looking at his phone the entire time, and I'm just like of course you should change for Georgia, because I love Georgia. Like, I'm not convinced that she's a fictional character, because I just think that everything she does, I'm just like, that is so real of you. Let me look at what I highlighted. He basically missed half of like the cake taste testing, missed half of that meeting because he had a call on his phone to do, and Georgia was like, ugh, old habits die hard, like of course. And later on they talk about that subject. Finally he says, it's not what you think it is. It doesn't matter what I think. It actually does, he says, his voice low, very much. He cares about her so much, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm just like, as you should, because Georgia, bowing down to her, I love her. Anyways guys, for the time being, I think I'm just gonna sit in the car and read some of my book. I don't have my Kindle with me, so I'm just gonna read it on my phone and listen to some music. Like, so far today, any downtime that I've had, I've just like opened my phone and started reading the book, which I feel like is a sign of a really good book, because I'm really enjoying it. And it's so just lighthearted. It doesn't really take itself too seriously, and it's a romance book. Like, it's not doing too much, but I think that's perfect. Like, I don't want it to do much. So that's my update on the book I'm currently reading. I'm just gonna sit in the car and wait until we actually start leaving again, and I'm just gonna read my book. Eli just said something that is so true. He said, you're not good at communicating your needs, especially when you're drowning. Literally describes Georgia in their entire relationship. I'm glad he finally sees it now. Like, yes, let's also talk about Georgia's faults. Love her to death, but let's also talk about Georgia's faults.
A bunch of land somewhere and chose the Rose Garden over Madison Square. Took some time, but I understand it now.
My grandparents' boat right now. I'm just gonna continue reading while we're over there. I'm not gonna be doing that much, so I'll probably just sit down and read some more of my book. She says, I wasn't worried about you saying something bad about me. Despite our history, he's never come close to criticizing me. I'm just wondering why you're willing to take that conversation on alone. Because I know it'll kill you to disappoint him. And because I'm used to it. Eli thinks he's this horrible person, and he's not. Gosh, hi! You're so happy, hi! I don't know whose dog just found me, but come here! I really don't know whose dog this is. Hello everyone. everyone. It's officially the next day. It is currently Wednesday. I have some updates for you guys on the book. I did not expect to like that book that much. I finished the book last night and I'm gonna give it a 4 stars. It's just such a good rom-com and it's so well thought out, and just like the chemistry, the banter, literally everything in the book, I feel like it was done so perfectly, and it felt so easy to read and it felt like I was part of the story. You guys obviously know how much I loved that book because I also was just like yapping about it like the entire time I was reading it. Like begging for me to like sew my mouth shut about that book because I was just going in detail about the stupidest little things, but I loved the book so much, so I'm not even mad about it, okay? I do want to pick another book to read with you guys though, because currently I'm thinking about reading this book, which is Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, but I don't really know if that's exactly what I want to read because I also have some other books over on my bookshelf that I'm just like, they've been on the bookshelf for too long. I probably need to pick something from over here. I don't know. I feel like this book would just be one of those books that I really, really like because it's a rom-com at its core, but it's also like a literary fiction book. But like, I don't know if this is the book I want to go with next because I did just read a rom-com and I know that this has a like very big romance subplot. This is an option, but I did want to pick another one because I haven't read a fantasy book in a while. So the 2 fantasy books that I could go with right now are Caraval by Stephanie Garber, which I've had this on my shelf for a while and I probably just need to read it at some point. And I also just recently got The Gilded Wolves by Roshana Chokshi. Definitely said that wrong. I'm so sorry. I butcher every name ever. So I have The Gilded Wolves and Caraval that I definitely want to get to at some point, and these are both fantasy books. So there's like different things I would have to decode throughout this book. This might be a fun book to read actually. I don't know if I'll like the book. I honestly didn't even read what it was about. I'm heavy on judging a book by its cover and I know I shouldn't ever do that, but like if I'm in a bookstore, I'm just looking at the cover. I'm not reading what the book's about. Like I could care less. As long as the cover's cute, I'm like, oh, that could be a good book. Like, it's 1889, the city is on the cusp of industry and power, and the Exposition Universelle has breathed new life into the streets and dredged up ancient secrets. Here, no one keeps tabs on dark truths better than treasure hunter and wealthy hotelier. I can't speak words right, I'm sorry. Severin is offered a treasure that he never imagined his true inheritance. To hunt down the ancient artifact the Order seeks, Severin calls upon a band of unlikely experts. An engineer with a debt to pay, a historian banished from his home, a dancer with a sinister past, and a brother in arms if not blood. Together they will join Severin as he explores the dark, glittering heart of Paris. What they find might change the course of history, but only if they can stay alive. I think I kind of want to read this book. Like, this seems so fun. I have to like actually think about things and like decode these ancient secrets with these people. Let's go ahead, let's start The Gilded Wolves. I'm 3 pages in, like. Like, why am I reacting this way? I don't even like these characters yet. Like, I don't even know them. I don't even know this world. Like, I don't know why I'm acting this way. But the book starts and it says, once there were 4 houses of France, like all the other houses within the Order of Babel. The French faction swore to safeguard the location of their Babel fragment, the source of all forging power. Forging was a power of creation rivaled only by the work of God. But one house fell and another house's line died without an heir. Now all that is left is a secret. What's the secret? Stop! Like, what's the secret? I have to read the book in one sitting because unfortunately I'm gonna lose my mind if I don't find out what the ending is. So I'm gonna be losing my mind until the end of this book when I find out what the secret is, because why aren't we just telling me? Guys, I'm gonna be honest here, I'm on chapter 4 right now. I don't think this is the most like fully fledged out fantasy book, just simply in the way of like this world building is not great, but I'm kind of okay with it. Like, I don't know why I'm like weirdly like, oh, it's fine. Like, I don't care that the world isn't fully built. I just need to know the secret. Guys, I had to grab my camera and speak about this because their banter, like all of the characters' banter, is just so good. I'm literally laughing out loud. I have to put you guys down to explain this. I'm currently so obsessed with these characters and their banter. I really don't care about the plot, and that might be a problem in itself, but I really care about these characters and about their banter and their friendship, and I think they're the funniest. The first example I have, it says, he wants to go, pointed out Tristan. Why can't he go? Because I chose you. Enrique whined. Severin doesn't think I'm pretty. Severin, tell him he's pretty. said Layla. Severin crossed his arms. Zofia, tell him he's pretty. And then I love Zofia because her character is just like the, I don't want to say know-it-all, but kind of like she's super mathematical and calculated. It says Zofia didn't look up from her tea. I'm personally undecided, but if we're assessing based on objectivity, then according to the principles of the golden ratio, also known as phi, which is approximately 1.618, your facial beauty is mathematically pleasing. I'm swooning, grumbled Enrique. And then for my other example that I have to say, basically Zofia and Enrique get like told that they both have to go on the mission together, like this specific mission together. It says, I work alone, said Zofia. Enrique rolled his eyes. Most women kill to be alone with me. And then Zofia responds and says, I have learned that something does not have to be intimate in order to use the word kill. Like how some people say kill time. Perhaps these women you are referencing are killing their expectations. Like why is the banter so good in this book that I genuinely don't care that the plotline kind of sucks? Hello everyone, I officially have some updates for you guys. Would you guys believe me if I said I finished my book last night? Like when I say I have a problem with like not knowing how things end, I really mean it. Like I have a problem with not knowing how things end. I literally finished The Gilded Wolves in a day. I don't hate our characters, but I kind of hated the plot. I really was not too invested in the story really at all. I was kind of just staying for the characters' banter. I also just don't think the world building was there, or even like the puzzles were anything too crazy. So I honestly think I'm gonna give The Gilded Wolves a 3 stars. I don't know, I honestly thought it would be a better book than it was. And I don't think the ending made up for anything, you know what I mean? And I feel like normally the endings, especially of like a book that has a mystery aspect in it, the ending is always going to be like the makeup point for me. But like in this book, it just wasn't. So I don't know what was going on. I do love our characters so much, like Enrique and Severin, them being friends, I loved them so much. And then also Zofia, like everything she was saying, I was like literally laughing out loud because I was like, she's low-key calling them out at every turn, and I was eating it up. So honestly, I thought like throughout the first half of the book that the world being half done was just part of the reason like for the ending. Like it was going to be done in the end, but the reason it's not done right now is because obviously there's a mystery aspect. Turns out the world building not being completed had nothing to do with the ending of the book, and it didn't really serve any purpose except for just being incomplete. The next book, and probably the last book that I want to read for this video, is Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine. I have the book on audiobook right now, but I also have like the physical book over in my cabin. I need to get some computer work done, and I feel like honestly an audiobook, I could just listen to it in the background and get through a book. The only thing that I know about this book is that it's following this girl. It's kind of a romance but more a literary fiction book. The reason I picked this book in the first place is because it's a Reese Witherspoon book club pick, and I'm like, I love her. Meet Eleanor, Oliphant. She struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. Nothing is missing in her carefully timetabled life of avoiding social interactions, but everything changes when Eleanor meets Raymond, the bumbling and deeply unhygienic IT guy from her office. When she and Raymond together save Sammy, an elderly gentleman who has fallen on the sidewalk, the three become the kind of friends who rescue one another from the lives of isolation they have each been living. And it is Raymond's big heart that will ultimately help Eleanor find the way to repair her own profoundly damaged one. I feel like this is going to be like the perfect book for me. I love main characters who are like really awkward, lack social skills, and have like mental health struggles that they just don't even know how to talk about or don't even know actually exist. And I'm also getting the hint that it's a romance between Eleanor and Raymond, but it might not be, and I'm kind of okay with either way. Something about nobody other than like service people working on her apartment have not been in her apartment for months and months and months. And I'm like, oh, that's literally gonna be me when I'm older. I feel like I'm already relating to her so heavily, even on just like anything that she's saying. I feel like it's giving the same vibes as A Man Called Ove. Like Eleanor, Oliphant, and Ove, they would get along so well. I love Ove, by the way. I relate to him so heavily, so deeply, but I just feel like they're kind of the same person, but like Eleanor Oliphant's just the female version of Ove. Hello everyone, it is now a little bit later. Let me take my AirPods out. Every time I have my AirPods in, I can't hear what I'm saying, and I feel like I'm screaming at you guys. I just got home and life is about to get serious, okay? I'm gonna do my reading journal, and I'm also going to listen to, what is that audiobook that I'm listening to called? Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine. That is what the audiobook is called that I'm currently reading. I am making pretty good progress. It is an 11-hour book, so I don't know if I'm going to finish it in today's video, but I do think that Eleanor Oliphant is just a very closed off, socially anxious, very like alone type of person. I think the whole theme of this book is that we're gonna follow Eleanor Oliphant, and she's gonna like find people that she likes to be around, and she's gonna stop being so alone and so lonely. Eleanor missed one of her like meetings with her mother because, or like calls. Maybe I shouldn't have called them meetings, but you know, her mother is like really crappy, so meetings, not even calls. Like Eleanor doesn't want to talk to her. I think this mother character is written so well because I'm so shocked by it. I'm just like, oh my god, like I would not even be able to imagine how someone could be that kind of person. Anyways, the whole reason I went on that spiel to you guys was just simply because Eleanor missed one of the calls with her mother, and then her mother called her the next day and was like, what were you doing? Why'd you miss my call? And Eleanor was like, sorry, I was out doing something for a friend. And then her mother's like, but Eleanor, you don't have friends. Feels so weird when I'm reading an audiobook because normally with like actual books or like on my Kindle or anything like that, I can just read a quote to you guys. But audiobooks, I kind of like, I make you guys have to listen. So listen to this.
How are you? I tried my best to steady myself. Never mind how I am. Where were you? I'm sorry, Mummy, I said, trying to keep my voice even. I was with a friend, visiting another friend in hospital actually. Eleanor, she said, her voice oozing the oleaginous. You don't have friends, darling.
Oh, Eleanor, you don't have friends. I've just been so shocked recently by this book. Also right now I'm a little bit confused by this book because Eleanor is going on this like, I guess just whole adventure to go find this guy that she thinks she's in love with who is a musician, I believe. She's basically like, for lack of a better term, stalking him and trying to find him because she thinks that he's the only person who could understand her and he's the only person who she wants to be with, and like she thinks he is the love of her life. I will say I don't think the plot line is necessarily there. Like I'm not really loving the plot line right now if I'm being honest. That's just me. I feel like honestly it's not working the correct way in my brain for this to be like a rom-com and then also a literary fiction. Really irking a little bit of my nerves because I'm just like, I don't even know if Eleanor's a good person. Like, let's just start there. Also, don't really understand what's going on in the plot right now.
I knew as soon as I set eyes on him that we were destined to be together. Fate would see to that. I didn't need to take any more decisive action, apart from ensuring that our paths crossed again. Once we met properly, the rest was surely already written in the stars.
She is so delusional to like vile levels. Why are we genuinely obsessing over this musician who doesn't know that you exist? And also like actively going to his house, be like, oh, we're gonna end up together. Like, y'all don't know it yet, but we're gonna end up together. Oh, he literally doesn't even know that you exist. She would literally thrive in those days when One Direction was together and everyone was like obsessing over them. Like, oh, I'm gonna end up with one of the guys from One Direction. Like, she would have thrived in that time, let me tell you. I'm struggling a lot with this book if you guys couldn't tell, so I think I'm gonna DNF. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I will probably come back to it later. I just don't think that it's the vibe right now. It's a big disconnect with me in this book, so this is where I'm actually going to end today's video. I thought I was going to end today's video where, you know, I'm finishing the book and I'm giving you my rating, but I unfortunately think I have to DNF. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so very much. I hope you guys stick around and like and comment and subscribe and check out all my other videos that I posted. I post a whole lot, okay? So prepare to be sick of me if you subscribe, but I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to check out all my socials in the description box down below. Goodbye.